Hey, CCW guys. Waste potential 616. Well, I feel a bit silly saying that. It's Rob. Okay, talking, trying serious matter. Look, yeah, I just felt I wanted to respond to your question in your previous video. Now, in regards to for the family member had been raped, would you appreciate it in the comic book? Now, while no one in my family has been raped, or sexually assaulted, well, not as far as I know, I unfortunately have known several girls that have been sexually assaulted. In fact, I had to this was years ago, a friend of mine to a sexual health clinic, and after she'd been assaulted, and sort of contact the police for her, and basically I've seen the effects of such things firsthand. I'm aware of their connotations and their impact and whatnot. Now, in regards, I mean, when I watch a film and I see a rape scene, I actually find it very uncomfortable and difficult to watch most of the time. But if it's relevant to the story, then so be it. Now, in regard to comic books, well, look, with any medium, film, comic books, literature, I don't think any subject should be taboo, that shouldn't be portrayed. Now, I know you're not saying that it should be banned outright. I mean, if you don't mind me saying, I think your question got a little bit muddled with some of the comments that sort of followed it. It made the whole thing a little bit muddled, but I'm trying to answer it to the best of my abilities. If it is relevant to the story, then so be it. Well, now, you're saying if it's just used for shock value, well, what do you mean by that exactly? Because to shock the audience is a relevant tool for a writer. You know, it's an emotion which is brought out in a reader, one of many, and that's part of a writer's job. You know, to shock as well as to bring out other emotions as well. I mean, for instance, if you know the movie Deliverance, you know, there's a nasty, and that's towards a guy, you know, and that was a rather nasty rape scene, but it was relevant to the movie, but it was also shocking, you know, and it was used for shock value, but that shock value had knock-on effects which were relevant to the rest of the story. I mean, there's so many examples. I mean, Leaving Las Vegas, there's a rape scene, and well, there's a couple of sort of sexual assault scenes in there, but they were relevant to the story. They were shocking, but they had to be shocking for the story. Now, in comics, I mean, look at I mean, in Warrior, the anthology book with Marvel Man. Well, you in America would be known as Miracle Man. The character, Kid Miracle Man, he was being raped. Well, his alter ego before he turned into Kid Miracle Man and killed her. That was shocking and unpleasant to watch, but it was relevant to the story. And Now one of the things you said was, can you still enjoy it? Well, you know, if it's a part of the story, you know, you can still enjoy the story, even if it just has unpleasant scenes in it. It's just part of it, and it adds to the whole experience. I think the one time where it is a problem is if the sexual assault is portrayed for entertainment. Now that's wrong. You know, if it was there for any kind of titillation, then that would be a problem. But I think in any other context, there's not a problem with it. There's some horrible things in life. I mean, violence in any way. I mean, you know, well, I think everyone I know, and including myself. I mean, I've been beaten up, or you know, I've been robbed. I've had you know, a group of guys beat the shit out of me. You know, doesn't mean I can't read a comic book where fictional characters get beaten. You know, get into fights and get beaten up. I've known people. You know, I've known a couple of guys who've been stabbed. You know, it doesn't mean I can't read a comic book where someone's got stabbed if it's part of the story. No disrespect to you guys, but I think you're being a little bit overly sensitive about this, and I don't think it's the last kind of shock value violence towards women that's kind of left. I mean, it's been in literature for years, among other things. It's unfortunately it's part of life. You know, I mean, I won't go into detail. I mean, I've seen violence towards women in my life, you know, and it's a horrible thing, but it's a part of life. And literature, fiction deals with aspects of life. Now, even if it deals with you know, science fiction, superheroes, you know, it's what some people might consider childish things. They can deal with adult subjects, including violence towards women. And if it's handled well, then what's the problem? I don't think we should censor comics. And so I think your problem was if it's just thrown out there just to shock. Well, even still, that's a tool a writer uses to shock. Maybe if it isn't completely relevant to the story, if they want to shock their audience, they can use that, you know, in the same way that they can use someone being stabbed violently. You know, if you compare it to other mediums, you know, compare it to film, compare it to literature, murder novels. I mean, a murder mystery is incredibly violent, you know. Or, I mean, oh god, think of something like American Psycho. Oh my god, that's some fucked up shit. Very difficult to read, but overall a good story. But, I mean, I found it very difficult. But I don't think we should censor art, so anyway, I think I'm running out of time, so we'll leave it at that. But yeah, that's just my opinion, guys. Anyway, see you later.